What is up, guys? Dakota here, and welcome back to the Driven Mad channel. So in today's video, I've got my old Camaro 1LE here, and what I thought I'd do is just kind of bring you guys along while I drive it, because I have been wanting to drive a manual. I've been kind of craving a manual rear-wheel drive car, and so I wanted to just come up here and drive the 1LE again, and then thought I'd bring you guys along as well as see if I prefer this or do I prefer my C8, you know, just kind of after not having this for a while. Have any of my opinions changed after not owning it and driving it today? So like I said, I thought I'd bring you guys along, and let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright guys, so hopping in the Camaro after 2 years of not owning it, and also being used to the C8, it's very, very different. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with my channel, let me just kind of give you a brief backstory real quick. So I bought this thing brand new back in 2019 off the showroom floor, and when I was gonna go buy the C8, my pops was like, hey, don't trade it in, I want it. So, sell it to me, but don't get rid of it. And I saw that as a win, because then, hey, he gets a car for a lot less. I still get the C8, and I can still have access to this thing that just sounds fantastic. Oh, this thing is so good. Anyways, now that you guys kind of have that backstory a little bit, so it's been around, but I just haven't driven it in a while. And I've been really kind of, my cousin's actually buying a new car here very shortly. It'll be kind of a secret because we're going to reveal it on the channel. And, I really I've been kind of just wanting a manual car because the engagement is just so much more, just doing that right there and then hearing these. No matter what, you just take your foot off the gas, pops everywhere. So for me, I just thought, you know what, this will kind of help scratch the itch, although I think it just might be making the itch worse, because oh my god. So what's interesting is about the brakes, this actually has bigger brakes all around than my C8 does. And they're also 6 piston calipers up front, 4 in the rear, whereas my C8 was 4 piston all the way around, and the diameter was smaller, which is just hilarious to me, because you would think the $80-something thousand Corvette Z51 package would have bigger brakes than, say, a Camaro. So I just think it's kind of funny, and the brakes are just so good, and they give you a lot of good bite, a lot of good feel. It's really awesome. And I'll give you a little insight as far as to give you kind of an idea of how this thing handles and brakes. When I went and did the watch this. Oh. So when I actually went to the Corvette racing school in Nevada, the Ron Fellows race school, they actually use 1LEs as like the follow car. So they're in 1LEs and they'll have you follow them. So they're driving one-handed radio, and these things are still fast enough and capable enough on track to where they don't have to switch different cars, even for the C8, which is a much faster car in a straight line. But the turn-in on this is just so immediate. It's got wider tires. The chassis itself is a lot more rigid. And now, from what I look for in a car, I like a car that I can feel things. I want to feel the steering. I want to feel, how does the car react differently to my inputs? Can I feel things in the steering? In this, you can feel what's going on in the steering. The noise, I can hear the engine, especially if I pull down the rear seats. So then you can hear the noise even more. Oh, and it sounds so good. And what I like about it is it's a fun car. It can be a very serious track car, or it can just be a fun car that you just have fun just tootling around in. Like, you barely add any gas, take my foot off the gas, and it just goes crazy with the exhaust. And I like that. I like that you don't have to drive this car, you know, full throttle to get any sort of emotion out of it, which the Corvette, as good of a car as it is, it's a little dull. So, like, you only get good sound when you're full throttle. Like, if you're just mild throttle, this, and you get way more noise. It's crazy, and that's one of my favorite things about it, because the car is fun. It's super playful. I mean, you can get the tail to kick out super easily on this thing, and it's so much fun to drive. I mean, just like, watch this. So, like, to me, you know, it's one of those things where, after having not driven it for a while, it really just, it is a really good car. Now, as far as like interior quality and all that stuff, it's not the same category as the Corvette. The Corvette is definitely a nicer place to be, and looks-wise, the Corvette is a lot cooler to be in, because, you know, it looks more exotic. It looks a little cooler. It feels a little bit more special. But as far as driver involvement goes, I mean, this is hard to beat. The manual in it is awesome. The steering has a nice way to it. The shifter is nice and precise, and it's got a nice short throw. It takes a little bit of effort to kind of get it in there, but it's just so good. And, you know, it's just something about having a manual where you can just kind of, you feel like you can manhandle the car a little bit more, because you're controlling all of the inputs. Compared to the Corvette, which I have driven on track. Oddly enough, I haven't driven this on track. I would love to. But you can just feel, even on normal roads, you can feel that the chassis is just so rigid. When they designed the Alpha platform for the 6th Gen Camaro, that's what made it get such great reviews, because the chassis is so solid. As a driving machine, the Camaro is just a lot more engaging, at least the 1LE. It's a lot more engaging, whereas the Corvette, you know, and I hate saying this, but it is a bit too much the retired guy's car, if that makes sense. The regular one, the regular C8, is a bit too much for the dude in Florida who's only going to do 50 miles an hour and never go any faster. Whereas this, I mean, just like that right there, just little things like that, and then just, oh my god, oh, it's so good. This might have been a mistake to drive this, because now I'm just gonna want one again. So there you have it. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to bring you guys along while I reminisced my old 1LE. And I gotta say, after driving it, as far as being a driver's car, this is definitely a lot more engaging. It's a lot more fun. It just, you know, with the pops and cracks of the exhaust, it's a more fun car, and it's definitely a better driver's car than, say, the C8. As awesome as the C8 is, you know, it's better to be in the C8. You know, it's cooler to sit in. It looks a lot better. It has, or I guess, in my opinion, it has more road presence. But as far as just fun to drive goes, this thing is super hard to beat. And I thought it would scratch the itch, like I said earlier, but I feel like it might have just been a mistake, because now I kind of want another one. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.